What is going on, my friends? Thanks for stopping by my channel. And if you are here, it's probably because you saw the title to my video. But first, let me just preface this by saying that I will be changing the names to the people involved, and I will be changing the name of where I work. This way, we don't get some harassment going for the guy in question today. Let's call him Steven. Now, a little background on Steven. Steven is the kind of guy who's chill, he's just mellow, he's nonchalant, he shows up to work, he's making everybody laugh. Everybody just likes working with the guy, okay? Now, a few weeks ago, Steven had told me that he was excited because he was buying a car. He had saved up all his money. This man had worked the sweat off of his forehead to save up enough money to buy this car. Now, what car are we talking about here? We are definitely not talking about no minivan, soccer mom looking car. No, this is the Honda S2000. Now, if you guys have never seen a Honda S2000, I will put it up on the screen. Yes, that's right, my friends. He got the yellow one. It's a beautiful car, and it sure as hell is pretty expensive. If you guys have not checked how much the Honda S2000 cost, it cost a whopping $13,000 crashed. Okay, this car has been in an accident. Okay, so usually when cars have been in an accident, they are cheaper. This is the cheapest that you can get this car. Now, Steven had been working his butt off. We went over that. But just to make you see how hard he was working, this man did not have one, not two, but three part-time jobs to save up enough money to buy this car. Now, let's fast forward to Friday, June 5th, 2020. This guy has bought the car on the day. He shows up, he tells me, look at my car. And I'm sitting here like, God damn, that's a sexy ass ride. $13,000 down the drain. All the money this man had on the day that he buys this brand new, super luxurious S2000. He shows up, he's showing it off to everybody. Everybody's comes outside, they look at the car, they're all just admiring this car. At one point, our pizza guy, okay, let's change his name to, let's say Alfredo. Alfredo, our pizza guy, goes outside and test drives the car around the premises. Now, Alfredo, this guy, he's having the time of his life. He's driving this car so fast. And let me tell you right now where we work. Okay, let's call it La Pizzeria. Now, La Pizzeria is located next to a Kroger. Okay, there's a Kroger, then there's a hardware store, then there is us, La Pizzeria. I work at a pizza place. It's honestly an amazing place to work, and I make a good bit of coin as well. Now, he is driving it so fast, there are people just walking to Kroger, walking to the store next to Kroger, and of course, we have people coming into La Pizzeria. Okay, Alfredo does not give a shit. He is driving it. He's revving the engine. He is taking off 0 to 60. Okay, I'm lying. Maybe not 0 to 60, but definitely 0 to 30, 0 to 40. Okay, he is just not even on the surf right now. He looks so happy. This man never smiles. That is the first time that I saw Alfredo smile. Okay, and Steven, he's just out there. He's talking to everybody. He's telling everyone. He's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna put some new rims, a new spoiler, maybe change the hood, maybe change the color. He's making all these plans. Little did Steven know that his world will be turned upside down. Now, before I get to what actually happened, let me just say that Steven, he loves anything about cars. This guy used to work at a dealership. He knows his stuff. Now, Steven is also very into Japanese drifting. If you don't know what drifting is, look it up, okay? You've been living under a rock. Drifting is like the coolest shit to ever happen to cars, okay? Now, Steven, he has been telling me for weeks that he really wants to drift this car. Now, I'm no saint myself. I have a Kia Rio 2006, okay? I will put a picture up on the screen right now. It is a tiny car. My car is not meant for drifting, okay? I'm not a saint. I try to drift in my car all the time. I will take some corners really fast, turn the wheel, and let my car slide. Maybe not the smartest thing to do, and I pretty much learned that lesson on Friday of 2020. On this Friday, Steven came in, had spent all this money, and he's telling me, yeah, I'm gonna fix the suspension. I am going to get this car drift ready. Now, I was down. I'm like, yes, okay. Now, kids, I've got a little disclaimer for you. If you are not a pro, if you have not even had your license, let me scratch that. If you have a license, do not try this. Do not try to drift your car because you will do what my friend Steven did. Now, what happened? Let's get right into what happened. So, Alfredo, the pizza guy, comes back. He tries to park the car, okay? Now, keep in mind, this is a manual. So, he tries to park the car and he stalls it, meaning he let go of the clutch. So, the car turns off and it keeps rolling forward. And there is a car directly in front of him, okay? So, he's moving towards this car and we all kind of just stop. You know, we just kind of stare. But he's able to stop the car. He hits the brakes or maybe he pulled the handbrake, but he stops the car. And we all move on with our lives. We're like, oh, okay, that was close. You know, we were like, oh, you know. And then we just kept going on. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything's normal. Now, this is when Steven gets in the car right in front of La Pizzeria where we work. And he takes off, okay? Now, I go back into the store and I'm having a side conversation with a really nice coworker that I work with. Let's call her Emily. Now, Emily is telling me about why she's upset at her boyfriend, okay? But we don't really get too much into why she's mad at her boyfriend because all of a sudden, I don't know what compelled me to look to my left, but all of a sudden, I see little old Steven, yes, my coworker, zooming past our place of work. He is going so fast. I would say he was going 30 miles. All of a sudden, he pops a right turn. He turns that wheel to the right and he starts sliding. Now picture the letter S, which is exactly what he did with his car. He starts sliding and immediately I know, oh my God, he is trying to drift in front of a shopping center, right in the shopping center. So he turns and his car starts sliding and I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. He is drifting. Now, when he goes to turn the wheel left, or as you may call it, counter steering, which is what you are supposed to do to control the drift, his car starts spinning. And now, let me tell you, when I say that this car started spinning, I mean that he gave it too much gas and the car spins out directly into pillars. Now, outside of this store, there are pillars. He literally smacks into pillars. Now, the pillars are supporting the roof of this store. Now, from my perspective, I see him go into the side of the store. There's smoke, there's parts flying out. For a moment, the car's just sitting there still, and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe what I just saw. I look at Emily, she looks at me, and we both run out. Everybody in the store who was working, even the people eating inside, see this happen. We're all just shocked. No one is talking. The store is quiet. Me and her run out and we stop about, I would say, 20 feet from this car. Now, he is not moving. I'm like, oh my God, this guy is out, okay? Now, he is just kind of looking down, okay? There's literally people running up to him. He has just smacked into the side of a store. His car is wrecked. It looks so bad. The entire right side of the car is literally bent, okay? All of a sudden, Steven looks so angry. He literally just bolts out of the car and starts like screaming and maybe there was a little bit of crying as well, but I won't go into that. He is livid. He is so upset that he just wrecked this $13,000 machine. All the money that he had in the world, the 3 jobs that he worked, down the toilet, or so he thinks. Now, he is absolutely upset. He is not having it. He's sitting on the side of the curb, literally screaming. Now, my sister also works at the same place that I work. She was working that day. She runs from behind me, from inside the store, and she goes up to Steven and she starts consoling him. My sister is so nice. She starts telling him it's gonna be okay, don't worry, we're gonna figure this out. And he is literally in tears. He's just screaming. Now, at this point, the cops show up. They showed up quick because we literally work next to a police station. Like, the police station is across the street from us. And there's also a fire station. So the police show up first, and these cops pull up mad quick. I'm thinking, are they gonna arrest him? What is gonna happen? They pull up so fast, slam on their brakes, they get out, and this is when Steven starts walking away. Now, at first I think, is he gonna make a run for it? But no, he was just taking a breather. They pull him aside, they ask him some questions, and they try to take statements. Now, me, I'm no tattletale. I'm not gonna tell the cops what my friend Steven did, okay? So I'm like, oh, hell no. I saw nothing. You are not getting a peep out of me. Not a single word, nothing. Now, all my coworkers at this point are outside. Alfredo looks disturbed because he was driving the car a few minutes earlier. I was thinking maybe they were gonna go and question Alfredo, but they did not. I guess nobody told them that Alfredo was also taking a joyride around this shopping center. I mean, Alfredo almost crashed the same car just a few minutes earlier. Now, at this point, this is when the firefighters show up. Now, the firefighters, they're not there because the car caught on fire. No, they are there to put some wood beams under the roof of this store because he hit the pillars, knocked them down. So there's no support for the roof. I'm surprised the roof didn't collapse. Now, they are rushing. They're putting these wood beams underneath the store to provide some support. Now, this is when our boss shows up. Now, I look behind me and I can see him. Now, a little background on my boss. He is this happy-go-lucky, funny-ass guy. Now, I have never seen him stare and stand the way that he did in complete silence wearing sunglasses. This guy is not moving. He is just taking the scene in. And this is what he probably saw. He saw an S2000 crashed into the side of a store right in front of a Kroger. Freaking shopping carts everywhere. The pillars are down. There's cops. There's firefighters. And he knows that Steven, his employee, has just crashed into this store. We are all thinking, oh my God, he's going to fire Steven. Now, the cool part is that our boss actually ends up helping out Steven. So Steven does not have to pay the damages for wrecking this store. Or should I say the outside of this store. Now, how much would damage to the outside of a store, how much would knocking down some pillars cost? Not one, not two, not three, not five, but upwards of $11,000. He has literally saved my friend. Now, at this point, the cops are taking statements from my sister and a couple other co-workers that saw what happened. Not me, because I ain't no snitch. Now, Steven runs into the store, into our back room, and sits down, puts his head down. I go up to him, I put my hand on his shoulder, and I tell him, hey man, everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna come out of this. I even tell him my story about my horrible car crash that I had when I was 19. Okay, this is 3 years ago. Now, I will not get into that story, that juicy ass, crazy ass story about my crash, I will not get into it in this video. You will have to watch the next video for that one. But anyway, I tell him, I'm trying to relate to him. I'm telling him, hey man, we all do some stupid shit. This is why we pay so much for insurance. Now, Steven is not having it. He's like, I'm gonna leave the state. I'm gonna sell my car. I'm moving out of the country. I'm going to fucking China, Japan. I'm out. Peace. Goodbye, America. Now, I'm trying to talk some sense into this guy, to give him some wisdom from someone who's older, someone who's been through the same thing, but he is not having it. And I tell him, you are obviously still in shock. You're not thinking straight. Don't make any irrational decisions right now. Just calm down. So what we end up doing is that after they take his statement, because the cop did come into the store and asked him some more questions, then the cop was on his way. Now, after the cop left, my sister and myself and her boyfriend, who also works at the store, who was also working that day, he also saw it. He also had to give some statements to the cops. Now, we decide to take him out to eat. We're like, you need to calm down. You need some food in you. It's all going to be okay. Let's talk it over. Some dinner. Now, we walk into this restaurant. It's a nice Mexican restaurant. We usually do not have to pay a dime. We do not pay for our food because we are the best pizza place where we live. And everybody knows us. And we give them free food. And they give us free food. Now, we sit Steven down and we order him some Patron on the rocks. This man needs some booze. This guy has just crashed into a building. He needs some alcohol. So we get him not one, but two glasses of Patron on the rocks. This man slurps them. And when I say slurp, I mean slurps. He is trying to get fucked up as fast as he can. Now, he starts to feel better, obviously. We talk some sense into him. I tell him more about my crash. I tell him it's going to be okay. He's lucky he's not hurt. And this man, can you believe what this man says? He says, I would rather have my arm break, my arm be gone, instead of having my car totaled, because at least my arm will heal and now I have nothing. What the fuck? That made me feel so bad for him, but there is a silver lining, okay? Now, let's get into the actual cost of fixing the car and if he has to pay any damages for the building he hit. Now, for the first part, the actual cost of fixing his car is upwards of $3,000. Now, this is a Honda S2000, and the parts are not cheap. I thought it was going to be worse, but it's actually just body work. Nothing happened to the engine. So in reality, his car is going to be fine. He just needs to spend the money and pay some labor costs so he can fix his car, and his car will be fine. Now, the second part, he will not have to pay any damages. And let me tell you, when I say this building and the outside looks wrecked, it is bad. The pillars are gone. There are no pillars outside of the store anymore, okay? There is just wood beams. Now, thanks to our boss, he does not have to pay anything. Anyway, Steven, he knows this now. Steven is doing fine. He is going to get his car fixed, and he's feeling a lot better. I saw him today at work, and he is doing great. Now, if you're still listening to this story, leave a fat like, subscribe if you want, and leave this word in the comments below. The password so I know that you made it this far will be dill pickle. If you type dill pickle, I will know that you saw this video to the end. You saw this video through and through, and I would just like to say thank you very much to those who listened to this story, and I'm hoping that I will do more videos like this very, very, very soon. I am trying to start a rhythm, okay? I'm working out, I'm reading books, pumping iron, and now I am trying to start a routine of making YouTube videos because there's a lot of other shit that happens at my work that I just cannot keep to myself. It's so juicy. Some shit I can't even say because the FBI. Let me take that back. Slow down. Maybe not the FBI, but some juicy ass shit that just some of the shit I can't say. Okay? Now, thank you for watching. Have a great fucking day. And as always, peace.